Hello, good morning, friends. Uh, Today I'm going to teach you tenses. Look, students, without whenever you are using or making any sentence, if there is no sense and tense in the sentence, it is meaningless. So, sentence, okay, is perfectly made only when that sentence has proper tense and proper sense. So the word tense actually tell us two things. There must be the proper tense into it and sense into it. So let's start. What do you mean by different tenses? There are three basic tenses: past, present, and future. And it is subdivided into three parts: simple, continuous, and perfect. Like simple present tense, present continuous tense, and present perfect tense. Let's go through each and every tense with its syntax and its usage. Now, what do you mean by simple present tense? Look, student, this tense is used when you want to say something that actually occurs as a habit or that happens regularly. Even for showing universal actions, you can use simple present tense. Now, what is the structure of this tense? Structure of this tense is subject, V1, S or ES plus object plus other words. Now, here you have to keep one thing in mind where V1 or S or ES are used. If your subject is third person singular, like he, she, and it, if your subjects are third person singular, he, she, it, the verb would be S or ES. And if your subject is I, we, you, and they, generally V1 is used. Like the famous example, I love the God. So I, we, you, and they love the God, but if you're using with he, she, and it would be he loves the God, she loves the God, it loves the God. Means he, she, it loves the God. I, we, you, and they. If your subjects are I, we, you, they, it would be V1. If your subjects are he, she, it would take S or ES form. So these are the basic things that you have to keep in mind while using simple present tense. If I say I speak English would be a correct sentence. But if I say I speak English would be a wrong. Why? The reason is that I'm using S or ES with the subject I. It means if your subjects are first person, second person, or third person plural, means I, we, you, and they, V1 is used. If your subjects are he, she, and it, S or ES is used. So, and if your subject, if you're trying to convert that sentence into interrogative, do or does are used. If the example is she helps me, now turn into interrogative. Does she help me? Why? Because she helps me. That S or ES is given. So there, if you're trying to turn into interrogative, it would be does she help me? But if your sentence is they help me, now turn into interrogative. Do they help me? Look, students, I have seen even while checking board papers, students are not capable enough even to write simple present tense properly. This is really very pathetic. If the students from English medium, they are not able to write correct sentences. So this is the scenario, then the future employer are not going to employ you. They will employ you only if you are good at language. Look, your commercial subjects, your science subject, all this thing would come later. But if you are not good at language, they are not going to give you a job. So this thing you have to keep in mind, that you should be good at language. You should always try to speak with correct grammar. People speak English, but they never know what kind of grammar they are using, whether it is right or wrong. Okay, now next tense. What is present continuous tense? Now, where it is used? It is used when you want to say that any action that is going on at this time at present. If I say I'm teaching you, I'm taking a lecture. So if I want to say any action going at the time of speaking, means fan is moving. It means you want to say when I'm speaking, this action is going on. So anything that is occurring, that is happening at the time of your speaking is called present continuous tense. Now what is the structure for present continuous tense? Subject is am plus verb ing. Now verb ing is also called gerund form. You can put both are same, gerund form or either verb ing plus object. Let's take an example. Students are listening to me carefully. They are doing their homework. We are studying. I am taking a lecture. They are speaking. Here, your tense is divided into two parts when the verbs are used. First of all, helping verb is am are and followed by verb ing is used. In simple present tense, only V1 or S or ES is used when you are putting the verb. But keep one thing in mind, change in the verb is called tense. That thing we have to keep in mind while we are using any tense. And if you are using your, there has to be perfect subject and verb agreement. And if you are making wrong subject verb agreement, it would be a wrong sentence. If I say she are helping me, it would be a wrong because there is no proper agreement between the subject and verb. She is helping me is a correct sentence. So this thing we have to keep in mind when you are writing a sentence. Now next tense, present perfect tense. What is present perfect tense? Present perfect tense is used when you want to say any action that actually occurred in the past. That action got over in the past, but the effect is going on. If I say I have passed Master of Arts, but I passed my Master of Arts years ago, right? Still I can say that I have passed it. Why? That action actually occurred in the past, but still the effect is going on. Effect is going on in the form of my knowledge. So when you want to say an action got over, but the effect is going on, India has won a World Cup. Now India won World Cup in 2011 and earlier in 1983. Look, if both the things have actually occurred, but the effect is going on, we have won it, we have done it. It means the sense of acquisition, we have actually acquired something, we have got it. So the sense of getting something is there, and we are stretching that past thing into present because we are actually stretching the effect of that past happening into present. I have read that book. Now I have read that book means I read that book 2 years ago, but still the effect is going on. I know the plot of that book, I know what that book actually talks about. So when you want to say something actually got over but the effect is going on, there you can use present perfect tense. Now the syntax, construction, structure of this tense is subject, have or has plus verb 3. Now keep in mind, have or has. If a subject is third person singular, he, she and it, then it would take has. If your subjects are I, we, you and they, and if your subject is plural, it will always take have, followed by V3, verb 3 plus object. So students, we have to keep this thing in mind while using present perfect tense. Okay, let's take an example. If I say I have spoke. Now try to consider the sentence. Is it right or wrong? It is the wrong sentence. I have spoke. Look, I have is followed by verb 3. It cannot be second form. I have spoken. Now next example, she has did her homework. She has did her homework or she has done her homework. The correct answer is she has done her homework. Why? You are using have or has, and have or has, when you are using present perfect tense, it is always followed by verb 3. So if you are not aware with first, second and third form, you are likely to make mistakes while using tenses. So you must be aware with verb 1, verb 2, verb 3, and whichever perfect tense you are using, whether in present, past or future, you have to keep one thing in mind, that always verb 3 is used in all the perfect tenses. So I hope you have understood what present perfect tense is. Now next one, simple past tense. Now what is simple past tense? When actually an action occurred, you are not talking about the effect of that thing. An action occurred in the past, there we can use simple past tense. If I say India got freedom in 1947, you are talking about that past action. Jallianwala massacre occurred in 1919. So when you are referring to a past action, when you are talking about a past action that occurred at a particular point of time in past, there we can use simple past. Now what is the structure of this tense? The structure of this tense is subject V2. Now V2 is what? Verb 2 plus object other words. Take an example. She wrote a letter. Now the first form of wrote is write, second form is wrote, and third form written. But when you are using past tense, simple past tense, we have to use second verb. They understood the fact. Now first form of understood is understand, second form understood, and verb 3 understood. So when you are using simple past, verb 2 has to be used. They went to the school, not they gone to the school. If you want to say they went to the school, it means you're talking about that they actually did that action in the past. So verb 1, verb 2 and verb 3, but only V2 is used when you are referring to a past action. And if you are turning the simple past into interrogative sentence, there to turn the sentence into interrogative, did is used. Like if I say they understood the fact. Now if you want to turn into interrogative, it would be did they understand the fact? He went there. Now what is the interrogative of this sentence? He went there. Did he go there? So this thing we have to keep in mind. If you are turning the sentence into interrogative in simple past, did plus V1 is used. So we can never say that did plus second form. Did you understand is a correct sentence. Did you understood is a wrong sentence. Did you went there is a wrong sentence. Did you go there is a correct sentence. So did, if you are using as a helping verb, it is always followed by V1. Right? I hope you have understood. Next, past continuous tense. Now what is past continuous tense? Past continuous means when action was actually occurring, means it was happening, it was going on at a particular time. If I say yesterday at this time I was teaching, it means I'm talking about something happening at a particular time in the past. Suppose I say when students called me, I was doing my work. So here we want to say when students called. So when something occurred, another action was going on. So when an action was going on at a particular time in the past, past continuous tense can be used. Now what is the structure of this tense? Look, similarity between present continuous and past continuous. When you are using present continuous, it is is plus verb ing. When you are using past continuous, it is was were plus verb ing. Subject was were plus verb ing, object other words. So to keep in mind, was verb plus verb ing. I was going, I was helping, they were doing the homework, I was trying. So these are the example of past continuous, and it is used when you are referring to a past action which was going on. Now next one, past perfect tense. Now what is past perfect tense? Past perfect tense when you are referring to two actions, but out of which one action actually occurred first and then the other one. But when you are referring to that action which occurred first, there we can use past perfect tense. Now what is the structure of this tense? Subject, had plus verb 3 plus other words. Like if I say I had prepared before I appeared in the exam. Now these are two actions. I appeared in the exam, I worked hard. But which action actually occurred first? I had worked hard. So the action that occurred first, for which we can use past perfect tense. But past perfect tense is generally used when you are using two past actions, out of which one action actually occurred first. For that action we can use past perfect tense. Had plus verb 3. I had gone there. I had gone there before somebody told me. Now somebody told me later. I had gone there earlier. So here actually the action that occurred first, for which we can use past perfect tense. The train had left before I reached the station. Now I reached the station later, but the action that occurred first, the train had left. No sooner. Look, you can use this tense with hardly had. Hardly had the teacher entered the class, then the students stood up. Now which action occurred first? The students entered? No, the teacher entered the class. This action occurred first, for which we can use past perfect tense, and the action that occurred later, for which we have to use simple past. So when you are referring to two past action, where for first action we can use past perfect tense, and for second one we can use simple past tense. Now next one, what is simple future tense? Now what is simple future tense? Simple future tense, it is used when you want to say an action will occur in the future. Here also we have to keep one thing in mind, that future is actually an assumption that we have in the mind. Like present tense and past tense, they have their first and second form, third form, but when you are using future tense, it does not have their own forms. We have to use auxiliary verb. Now which are the auxiliary verb used in future tense? Now in simple future tense we have to use shall or will. Shall or will plus V1 plus other words. Now simple future tense is used when you want to say an action that is going to occur in future. Now if your subjects are I or we, generally we can use shall, and with all other subject we can use will. It's not compulsory, you can use will with all the subject. Okay, let's go to the example. I will help my friends. Look, here I can say I shall help my friends, but there is a bit difference in the meaning. I shall means I will do. I shall help my friend. It shows that action will occur. But I will help my friend, that shows my determination. So these are the two. This difference we have to keep in mind while we are using shall or will. Okay, it does not make any difference when we are using in conversation, when we are using in writing. So this thing we have to keep in mind. Subject shall or will plus V1 plus other word. They will help me out. Will plus help. So you have to keep one thing in mind. If you are using shall or will, it has to be followed by V1 if your sentence is active. Okay. They will write a paper. So they will write a paper. Means what you're talking, they will write their paper. Will plus write, not will plus written. So this thing we have to keep in mind. Will is always followed by first form in simple future tense. Now next one, future continuous tense, where future continuous can be used when you want to say an action actually will be going on at a particular time in future. If I say I will be teaching you second chapter of Flamingo textbook in the next lecture, so here I'm assuming that this action will be going on in future at a particular time. Look, this is my future assumption, but here I assume that that action will be going on. So when you want to say an action will be occurring, will be going on, will be happening at a particular time. Suppose you want to say an action going on in present, we use present continuous. You want to say an action was going on, there we use past continuous. But when you assume that action will be going on, there we can use future continuous. So now what is the structure of this tense? Subject, shall or will, plus be, plus verb ing. Like if I say students will be attending the lecture from next month. So this is my assumption. So that I hope so. The student will be attending the lecture from next month. So you are actually talking about that action which would be going on at a particular time. In future, this tense is used. I will be reading this book today evening at 6:30. So I assume that at 6:30 today I will be doing that thing. I will be playing cricket with my friends this Sunday. So you're talking about an action which will be actually going on. So there future continuous is used. Now what is future perfect tense? The last one, future perfect tense. Now future perfect tense is used when you want to say an action will actually have occurred. Means action which is, we can say we have assumed that the action will have been over in future. If I say by 2021 you all will have appeared in your board examination, what I mean to say, this action will be complete, this action will be over in future. So when you want to say an action will be over in future, there we can use future perfect tense. Now what is the structure of this tense? The structure of this tense is subject, shall or will, plus have, plus verb 3, plus object. Like take an example, I will have read this book by 15 days. So you want to say after 15 days this book will be over, means I will have read that book. Students will have completed the homework by today evening. They will have understood the topic. So here I want to say that all these actions will have been over in future. So let's go through a small recap of future tense. When you want to say an action will occur, there we can use shall or will plus V1. When you want to say an action will be going on, there we can use future continuous, subject, shall or will, be plus verb ing. I will help you, I will be helping you. I will help you means it shows something will occur in the future. But if I say I'll be helping you, it shows that this action will be going on. And if I say I will have helped you, here you want to say an action of helping out will have been over in future. So in this way you can use all tenses, but most important thing, students, you must know the structure as well as their usages. as well as their understanding that where and how the tenses are used. I have seen the students, you know, they are very good at English, but they are really, when it comes to use correct grammar, they make horrible mistakes. And as a teacher, I would like to tell you that if you use more and more English in your life, just don't read English like a passive reader. Feel English. When you're reading, you feel you are speaking. When you're speaking, you just feel that you are not just speaking for the sake of speaking. Try to feel more and more language inside you. The more you feel it, the more you can learn language. And learn language, we need to express more. And to express more, we have to use that language every day in our day-to-day life. Okay, so I hope you are doing well at home. Please keep yourself away from social networking sites, because really this in this lockdown period, if you use it more and more, it will corrupt your mind. And it is said that mind is the biggest reality in today's world. And if your mind is corrupt, if your mind is upset, you won't be able to get any success in life. So real success in today's age depends on how we use our mind. And most importantly, every day at least do some yogasana, pranayam, and do some meditation. That will actually calm your mind, and you will be on the right track to work hard. And today's work hard will actually bear you fruitful things in future. And if you don't care for your present, really that future will be unbearable. So work hard, make your career, and most importantly, don't waste your time. Bye. Take care.